What's going on, everyone, from LowKick MMA? My name is Danny Podolsky, and I'm joined with Fernando El Valiente Padilla. He is getting set to take on Sean Woodson at UFC Tampa next Saturday, not September, December 14th. Fernando, thank you so much for taking the time. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, Danny, and you. I'm excited. Really happy. Just cutting the weight right now, and everything good.
I'm doing great, man. Anytime I get to talk to you before a fight, it's always a pleasure. We're recording this on Wednesday. You're 10 days out from your fight. How's the weight cut going, and when do you leave for Tampa?
I leave next Tuesday, and the weight is great. Actually, I shouldn't even say cutting. I'm just putting weight down,
Mhm.
but it's been good. I had to put some weight up like the past 2 weeks because I was dropping weight. I feel that as soon as I start putting up training, as soon as they get me the fight, I start putting up like more hours. Um, my weight just naturally drops down. So uh, I'm always like there. So I have to like eat a little bit more, and that's good because it gives me more energy for the camp. And then just now these next 2 weeks, just putting it down. Yeah, I'm 160 right now, so like I tell you, it's not a great like a crazy thing, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing. I've been training really hard, nonstop every day, and just making sure I will be ready for that fight.
Yes, and certainly 160 and 145. Obviously, weight cuts are never fun, but that's not as, brutal as some of these other guys I get to talk to. Um, for this fight specifically, how did it come together with Sean Woodson? How do you feel about this matchup? And was it at all frustrating that you weren't able to get on that UFC no-J card? I know you wanted to fight there for the Mexican
Yeah,
day.
I think yeah. I mean, uh, more than frustrating. It was more like sad a little bit. Like I wanted to fight there. I think I put a good performance on March against Luis, and I was ready. I was healthy. So you never know. Things happen for a reason. And then I pushed for that one. I pushed for the November on New York too, but it didn't happen. I ended up going with my brother Robert. That was fucking amazing. Uh, and then it's just, I mean, I really don't know what happened, why I've been without getting a fight. But in terms of coming into this next one with Sean, it was an immediate yes. Honestly, I didn't even think about it. I think even coach didn't even think about it. And I feel that it's because we knew even when I was outside of the UFC that at one point I was going to fight this guy. Uh, and then I've been saying it in other interviews, but it's almost like he's been always there. I've been able to like see his fights and also study him a little bit. My first fight against Julian, when I was studying for Julian, obviously who he fought,
Mhm.
Sean Woodson,
Mhm.
right? And then I remember after that, uh, coaching me talk about some names that we probably wanted to fight. One of those being Charles Jourdain, and who the Charles Jourdain fought too, Sean Woodson. So like he's been always there. I watched his last fight against Alex Caceres too because uh, me personally, I thought like Alex will be a fun fight for me too. So every single guy is pretty much Sean Woodson. He's been there, so I've been able to study him. I think also it helped me to not like just completely like get focused on this like super into what this guy's gonna do or stuff like that because I've been seeing him for so long that like I guess I'm ready. And then I have the perfect training partners. um uh I know he have his specific skills and specific moves. That's why I say I guess, because I know he's not gonna move like my guys really move. So I'm just gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready for to put on a war, and I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, and when I look at this matchup, like even just from a fight fan perspective, it's such a great matchup. Both you and Sean are two of the longest fighters in the division at 45. Both you guys are strikers. And it feels like definitely with Sean Woods, I feel like every fight he goes into, it's like he has this big definitely leg reach advantage and usually has the arm reach advantage too. But against you, it's gonna be a lot closer because you guys are built kind of similarly. Having looked at his training, all that, is there like one area that you feel like I have the advantage over Sean Woodson in this fight?
I just think I'm better.
Mhm.
In general, as a mixed martial artist, uh, I know Sean is really good at what he does, but what he does is pretty specific. Through his career, I think he's been changing a little bit, little things, but not really his style. His style has been always the same. And I think that's a problem. And at these levels, you need to be able to mix it up. I guess that's why. Uh, like he's and I'm not talking shit to him or nothing, but like I think that's why he still don't pass that top 15, because is that gate of like you have to start mixing up more stuff, not just your striking, not just your wrestling. You have to be able to be a martial artist. I think 145 is a really a division that depends on a lot on people who does that. You see the top 10, and there's people who really mix up really well those things. Even the top 15, the wrestling with the striking, the wrestling with jiu-jitsu, the jiu-jitsu with the striking, like, so you have to be able to do more than just one thing.
Mhm.
um and I mean, other than that, I think I'm that's why I'm better than him. I'm able to mix it up a little bit better. And I just know it's going to be a fight, and I think that's when I perform the best. That's why I'm so excited for this matchup. I know he's not going to shy away from punches or a fight, and he knows that I'm not going to do that either, so it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, and you're coming into this fight as the underdog. It makes sense to a certain degree in terms of you only have it. Yeah, and there you go. You only have, the three UFC fights. I think more fans are probably more familiar with Sean Woodson. He's been in the UFC for a while now. He's fought the guys like Caceres. When I look at this matchup, I really see it just as two rising high-level strikers at 45. I think it should be close to a pick 'em on the Vegas line. But you are a considerable underdog for this fight. Is that something that you saw? Is that something you care about all? And does that kind of change anything for you?
Not at all. I mean, I guess I've been the underdog. Also with Julian, I was the underdog. Uh, well, I think that's just only with Julian, and then after that, I got a little bit more of not underdog. But I don't really care about those things. I think once they close the cage, that's when you really see who is who. And I know, like I said, in 20 of my fights, 21 of my fights, I never had a guy who's changed the way that I fight.
Mhm.
They probably like make me wrestle a little bit more or jujitsu a little bit more, but like I'm always trying to go for that finish. I'm always trying to go forward, and I don't think it's going to be different this time. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and something that I'm excited for you for in this fight is that your first two wins in the UFC against Julian and then against Luis, they're both at the UFC Apex without the fans there. This time, it's not pay-per-view, but it's gonna be a packed house in Tampa. Tell me
Yes.
how much I don't want to put words in your mouth. So talk to me about the difference between the Apex and Fight for Our Fans. 'Cause I have had fighters tell me that they prefer the Apex. So I won't put words in your mouth. And then also kind of the chance to, if you go on and you upset Sean Woodson, there's gonna be a lot of eyes there. And the kind of the hype behind the name Fernando Padilla is going to skyrocket if you win this fight.
That's the point. I mean, look, it's fun. The Apex is really fun. It's almost like having a match, a fight in your gym.
Mhm.
It's just almost like a sparring session. I feel that's why a lot of people don't like it, because they perform different on a sparring session than an actual fight. But it's just quiet and stuff, right? But yeah, like the moment that I wanted to fight, and like the moment that I stepped into this world, I always expected people to be there. So like I want people to be there. I think it's not that I crave that, but it's an energy that is different. You like being able to feel that energy, that like the people screaming, the people booing, the people just making noise. Like I really like that. I think I performed well with it too. Obviously, in the noche was a little bit different because being Mexicans and like the entire Mexican noche. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to fight again with more people in an arena. And like I say, I know it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna like Johnny's gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it, and I know people are there is gonna enjoy it. People in Washington TV too, and like you say, uh, I expect that name to go up. Fernando Padilla all the way to the sky.
Yeah, and let me ask you too, because obviously, you've been in America for a while, you train out in California, but you fight under that Mexico flag. Sean Woodson, I mean, he's from St. Louis, so you guys are both on the road in Tampa. But do you think you might get some boos as the guy who's not fighting under the American flag in that venue?
I mean, I've been coming out with the Mexican flag since I came to America. So I'm used to the booing. One of my one of my craziest experience was in Minnesota. I went and fight Derek Miner, on LFA, and he was hometown fighter. So like a lot of people were there, and everyone was booing at me. I will never forget how they were talking shit to me when I was fighting, and they were talking shit to my coaches.
Mm.
Like they were like people were really like mean.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to, I was trying to just put love in there, just kissing the kid, like throwing kisses and stuff, and you can see how it was a hostile territory. So I'm kind of used to it too. Even here in California, when I started fighting here, I had the opportunity to fight for King of the Cage on the Ontario arena, and I remember few of my teammates, Chito Vera, Alex Perez, at that time they were with me there, and they told me it's like, man, 6,000 people in like small. Like it's like a small UFC. There was a lot of people that time. I remember they were booing me too at the beginning, and then 30 seconds after in the fight, they were cheering for me. But yeah, bro, I'm used to that, and I'm honestly really happy that I'm going to fight on an arena, because as a fighter, I think we all like that. We all like the energy.
Yeah, no, certainly. And let me ask you too, it's unconfirmed when the UFC is going back to Mexico, but it looks like maybe in the first 6 months, if not maybe the first 3 months of next year, the UFC will go to Mexico. I've asked you this
Mhm.
before, but I gotta ask it again. I don't want you to look past Tampa at all, but I'm assuming that's gonna be a goal for yours next year is to get on that card in Mexico City.
Yeah, obviously. I hope by next year I'm gonna be able to travel already and be able to fight in Mexico. And that's the only thing. It's not that I say no to fights. It's not that I don't want to fight. It's just that I cannot travel. Other than that, I say yes to every single fight that they offer me. I never say no to one fight. So I'm expecting by next year, by the time that they make him, be able to travel so I can fight in Mexico. That would be amazing.
Yeah, certainly. We gotta get you. I know we had you on the UFC Noche card when it was Valentina and Alexa. That was a couple years ago. We should have had you on the Sphere. I don't make these fights, by the way, but
It is what it
that's
is.
just my opinion. But we gotta get you in Mexico City if the UFC goes back there. But looking forward, sort of on a broader scale, assuming all goes well and you beat Sean Woodson here in December, what are your goals for 2025? Is it kind of top 15 by the end of that year?
Yeah, I mean, top 15 maybe by the middle of the year, if I can, uh if I can by the end of the year. But if I can break into that top 10 with 2 or 3 more fights, that would be amazing though. That would be really really good. I think that's why I'm putting my goal into it,
Mhm.
and probably 2026 start like knocking that door for the title shot.
Mhm.
So just I'm gonna keep grinding for it. That's my goal. I want to be a champion, and not just fighting. Just like I want to be a champion, and yeah, that's why I take a lot of people is telling me too that they're like, oh, this is a big opportunity for you because Sean Woodson has been in the UFC for such a long time, but uh, but yeah, I understand that, and that's why I prepare myself like relentlessly. So you guys have a good fight, and also I can get that show that the bosses want to see.
Yeah, and I will throw out one more name. You mentioned being at UFC 309 with Roberto Romero. He put on, especially for short notice, he put on a classic fight with David Onama. Is that he obviously didn't come away with the decision? Is David Onama a guy you would want to fight at some point? I look at Onama as someone who's also kind of a rising featherweight, someone who is allergic, if you will, to the boring fight. And for you, it'd kind of be an opportunity to kind of get one back for your teammate.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like I like his team. I have a really good friendship with the people from his team, like the Moroccan Devil, and like I think Coach Frank too. So I don't dislike them. That's where I'm going. But Honestly, seeing I have a lot of love for Robert, so seeing him getting hit, I got really like I got heated up when they were fighting. That last round when they square up at the end of the fight,
Mhm.
oh my God, I wanted to get inside the cage, like and it wasn't nothing personal against David, but like that's my little brother, you don't like I don't like to see him getting hit, and I mean if we I don't like to call out names. Like there's a specific people who I will be like, yeah, I won that fight. But uh, if we match up in the future, me and David, I think we will be on the top 10, top 15, and like you said, it's like we're allergic to like boring fights, so it's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, no, certainly. And Fernando, as always, thank you so much for taking time. My final question for you. December 14th, Sean Woodson, Fernando Padilla. Fernando, give me your official prediction.
Um, I'm always going to be ready for 3 rounds. If we're going to fight for 15 minutes, I'm going to fight him for 15 minutes. But uh, but I know when I prepare myself and when I do it how I've been doing it, mentally and physically, magic happens. So I believe magic happens is gonna be the thing in this fight. Like it's gonna be magic. So stay tuned. Don't take your eyes away from the fight. Is something is gonna happen, and I can feel it. I just been training myself for it. So
Yeah, and if one thing's for sure is that you will definitely not want to miss this fight. But anyways, Fernando, I just want to thank you so much as always for taking the time. If there are any socials, teammates, whoever you want to shout out, the platform is yours.
I mean, always El Valiente MMA and Instagram. Shout out to hard work, kickboxing and fitness over there in Long Beach. Evan and Hung and Cam, they've been helping me a lot. Kickboxers, really good kickboxers. Also, Team Oyama, always my team, my house. Is the place that I'm always at. And Raw Talent Boxing too. My boxing coach Chewy. Um, just big shout outs to all of them. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the help that you always put on me and all the time. Also to my parents and my family back home in Chihuahua. Los amo mucho.
Awesome. Well, Fernando, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Guys, El Valiente, Fernando Padilla is back. He takes on Sean Woodson as next Saturday in Tampa, December 14th. You will not want to miss this fight.
Thank
Fernando,
you.
thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck to you, my friend.
Appreciate you, Danny. Have a good
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.